Well, hello everyone. It's Mr. McKenna returning for another brief lecture I guess, to all of you registered in this online philosophy course at CCI. So I've got a few notes that I want to share with you today, and want to remind everyone that you're welcome to pose me questions or offer suggestions and comments at any point. My email address is p.mckenna, McKenna, at canadiancollegeitaly.com. So it's easy to get in touch with me, and I'm happy to respond as soon as I can. So we have 8 people now registered in this crash course on philosophy. We are following the Ontario curriculum, so I will be putting before you things that are relevant and meet the both the overall and the specific expectations of that Ontario curriculum for philosophy. And a lot is hinging on your participation, so there's a lot of onus on you to keep up with the materials. There's a Google Classroom set up for this philosophy course online, and I've put in a lot of materials that I used quite successfully last term with the grade 12 class. So I'm hoping that you'll have enough resources to guide you through the learning. And of course, I'm here as a guide on the side to assist. So let's go back. Remember, one of the things that I wanted to say about the various videos, some of them are of very high quality, some of them are not as good as others, but the content is sound. I've previewed everything that I'm putting at you and or making available to you. So I think that they're all good in their way. And I'll again rely on you to give me some feedback on what you find more or less useful, because both of those things are important as we perhaps offer other iterations of this course online in the future. Obviously, to see people face to face is infinitely better. I wish I was in the classroom exchanging ideas and thoughts with you, but so be it. This is the way we'll work. So let's go back a little bit. This is now the second week of the course. We have, I think, 10 weeks in total. We conclude December 20th. So a lot of content to cover in a fairly short period of time. So let's go back to the beginnings. What is philosophy? And I guess we start with the definition. Literally, it is the love of wisdom. And that is made up of 2 Greek words, philos, which is love, and sophos, which is wisdom. So philosophy is a fairly simple word. Now, what philosophy is a more complex matter, and in fact, the remainder of this course is helping us understand more precisely what philosophy entails. But basically, it's the goal of philosophy is the consideration of the most important questions that confront us as human beings. So, what is truth? What is virtue? What is the good life? Is there a God? What is courage? All those questions which continue to be relevant to us as human beings, even in the 21st century. They've been grappled with by philosophers over the ages. In fact, Aristotle, the famous Greek philosopher and student of Plato, who systematized a lot of philosophical reasoning, he said, "It is on account of wondering that man or humans first began to philosophize." So this notion of wondering about things, is still appropriate and relevant for us as we continue to ponder many of the same questions. So this course is designed, its purpose is to place you as a student before some of the key philosophers who have thought carefully about these and other questions. So it is important that we actually read. We go back to the early philosophers, not only because they offer quaint ideas for our entertainment, much like you visit the ruins of the Acropolis or the Pantheon or the Parthenon. We return to these philosophers because we continue to believe, I continue to believe, that they hold some source of insight on the very big questions that confront us as individuals and as collectives of human beings. So, for example, we don't read a Platonic dialogue, which we will be looking at in this course, because it offers a portrait of an odd-looking, curious guy named Socrates, but because the Platonic dialogues contain important messages and reflections on the most important questions. I've asked you to read the allegory of the cave, and that is a great myth or story about the human condition and how we are guided often, quite substantially, by opinions about what is good and what is not good and what is justice and so forth. Of course, most of us will not take the time and or trouble to learn ancient Greek. So we're right away relying on scholars who have the capacity to translate these works for us. The translators of Plato, there have been many over the centuries, and the best translators will not get in the way of what Plato is trying to say. And they are translators who will not presume that they understand Plato better than he understood himself. So the best translations are actually literal translations. Now, of course, idiomatic English has some challenges and rules. So we'll have to be careful how we read these dialogues in translation, and we may pause every once in a while to unpack some of the actual Greek so that we might get a better understanding of this. Now, one of the things I've put up recently, and I can point you to it, this is an optional viewing for those who feel that they can benefit from it, but a very well-known teacher of philosophy, particularly political philosophy, at Boston College in Massachusetts many years ago. This video is from 1991, but it still has a good message. Professor Christopher Bruhl has a video on the problem of teaching Plato today. It's a talk he gave at Kenyon College in 1991, but I still think it's worthwhile. It's more than an hour in length, so it would require some commitment and patience, but it will reward that. And I will say the beginning, the introduction of Professor Bruhl is not very clear, but once he starts, it's easily accessible, and that's on Google Classroom. So during this course, we will be reading selections from a number of well-known and highly regarded philosophers. My hope, is that we can understand them on their own terms. However, again, with people like Plato, Aristotle, Machiavelli, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, Immanuel Kant, George Hegel, Karl Marx, Friedrich Nietzsche, and others, we're already at a remove from their works, since we have to rely on the quality and faithfulness of translators. Unless some of you know French or German or other language, Italian for Machiavelli, we're at a bit of a remove. So we'll have to move carefully, and in many instances, we'll have to make haste slowly as we absorb these particular philosophers. Once again, I've tried to provide you with a number of videos that give you good background, and they have a fairly high quality in terms of the content. So I'm going to be relying on each of you, all 8 of you, to go to these videos and make your own notes, and please bring me any questions that you might have. I'm here to help, and even though I'm not in Lanciano, I will be attending to any questions as quickly as I can. I'll just repeat that at the end of every unit, there are 5 units in this course, this online course. At the end of each unit, there is a culminating activity, which is an assignment that I will assess and evaluate. That means give you a mark for the work that you're doing. So this is how I will track your progress throughout the term. And I encourage you to collaborate with me, discuss with your colleagues in this course, even in the school, to develop your responses to these assignments. At the end, Unit 5, there will either be an exam or some kind of final paper paper assignment that will make up your mark. So the term work, all the first 4 culminating assignments, will amount to 70% of your final grade. And the 5th unit, whether it's an exam or some kind of take-home paper, will also constitute 30% of your mark. So that gives you your full 100%. And I'm confident that if everyone follows along and stays up to date on the readings, the assignments, the videos, you should have a successful term with this course. So I just wanted to say, in the next few minutes, may take a couple of minutes, to point out, for example, the videos that I asked you to look at on logic. Now, term logic is the original term developed largely under the auspices of Aristotle, and evolving over time into the more modern mathematical logic. There are several videos that I've embedded in the Google Classroom for this course that you can look at and take notes on. But it's important that you understand the logical operators. And since there are only 5, these are things that I think you should know. And so the 5 are negation, conjunction, disjunction, material implications, and material equivalent. Each of those has a special symbol, and they are used to strip away some of the complexities of language, some of the difficulties that exist in ordinary language, and raise it up to a second order where it's clear as possible what kinds of propositions we're trying to make. So each of those 5 logical operators have a symbol, and the video that I pointed out to you earlier has the symbols included. I'll just recite them. The tilde, T-I-L-D-E, which is a squiggly line, means it's negation. It is not the case that. The conjunction means and it's simply a dot. The disjunction, meaning or, is a wedge, so it looks like a V. And material implications is a conditional item. If then is a sort of a horseshoe. And the last one is a material equivalence. It's if and only if is a triple bar. So I'm going to ask you all to go back to those videos. What we have for the remainder of this week is something to anchor you in the person and personality and thoughts of Socrates. There is a video on Socrates that's an hour and 17 minutes that I encourage you to screen for yourself and make your own notes. We're looking at the work of Aristotle and Socrates and Plato together, and there's a video that deals with that. And on Friday of this week, I want you to have completed a very simple and straightforward first assignment, the culminating assignment on your chosen philosopher. So as soon as you can, some people have already made their selections known to me. Pick a philosopher that you're interested in or would like to learn more about, and do the assignment that relates to that particular individual. There are many philosophers, and I've provided videos on a number of them, but I want you all to have gotten or have a good handle on that culminating assignment for Unit 1. That will clear the way for us in the fourth week to move forward to Unit 2, which is a very important one for me, and by extension you, on social and political philosophy. So I'm going to wrap up now. Happy to have had this opportunity to speak to you on Halloween. I'm looking forward to engaging with each and every one of you, and I encourage you to watch videos, and we'll be doing some serious reading eventually, but we're now in the process of building philosophical foundations so that we can move forward with a fairly strong base into the remaining units. So with that, I'll bid you farewell for today and enjoy the remainder of the week, and send me any questions. Ciao.